like anywhere from 40 to 110 hertz. It's pretty easy. You just kind of mess with it and find what feels right to you. Volume button, and then it includes a little remote socket, which is easy enough. You just plug the remote right in. It is a wired remote that comes with this kit. They do have more expensive models that come with wireless remotes too. Remote includes volume adjustments and power on off. So here's how I mounted it. You just it depends what you're mounting it to. In this case, I was doing it just to the bottom of an office chair. So you can do it with a screwdriver or a drill. I just did the drill because power tools are kind of fun.
Sorry, what you're drilling it to screw it in? Yeah. Oh, I see. You're just being lazy and using a screwdriver.
Exactly.
Right.
It doesn't include, let me stop it here real quick. It doesn't include any sort of mounting hardware. So you have to provide the screws, which they have another one. It's called the ButtKicker gaming kit. And what that includes is it's basically a similar unit, but it's on kind of a clamp. And what you can do is you can actually clamp that to the little hydraulic piston of your like office chair.
Yeah, that's the one I've seen.
Yeah. And I was kind of like, well, it's kind of weird that you have to, they don't include screws or anything like that. They don't include like any mounting hardware. I mean, sure, it's easy enough. But then I was watching a video review that someone did of the gaming ButtKicker version of it. And they actually kind of brought up a good point of, because this thing is fixed to this little clamp that it attaches to, it made it difficult to mount on anything that basically wasn't like circular, like the hydraulic piston of your office chair. So, after kind of seeing that, and they like made their own little adapter and everything to like attach it to like one of those like custom gaming chairs. I kind of thought, well, actually, I guess it is kind of a good thing that this is kind of universally mountable. You can mount it horizontally or vertically. So you've got 3 holes right here, and then you've also got this little bracket here that you can mount it. So you know what? You don't get like the little special mounting kit and stuff like that, but I mean, I'd say it's probably worth it just to have that extra flexibility of it in that. So let's let me go back to the video here. So finishing up the mounting process. Again, I mean, from the whole entire setup of it, from connecting it to your audio setup to screwing it into the chair or your cockpit or whatever you may have it screwed into, takes like 5 to 10 minutes or so. It's very quick.
Quick and easy.
Yeah, quick and easy. The other thing that's kind of cool, if you are kind of like a virtual cockpit builder, it should be, because it just uses standard audio, it should be fairly straightforward to hook like 2 or 3 of them or 4 of them or whatever together. I'm not sure if you can do that with all the Y adapters and that, but certainly you can set up like your own little audio setup where you use some sort of audio distributor, mixer, something like that. So it's extremely straightforward to actually set up, multiple units. It's just standard audio. I mean, which I think is pretty cool about it. So one thing that I kind of struggled with, let me actually finish it up here with actually talking about it. I found it difficult to like visualize for at least our video watchers what this would be like. The best way that I thought that I could visualize it, and like I said, check out the show notes, especially for our audio listeners. Check them out. I'll post like a standalone YouTube video up there, so you don't have to watch the whole thing over or anything like that. All right, so real quick, just kind of some pros and cons here about the setup. Easy setup. It uses standard audio connections, which I think is great. Setup's going to take you about 10 minutes or so, just with the standard office chair. The quality of the ButtKicker itself and the audio amplifier are great. I mean, obviously, they're built to last. It should be pretty easy to get it working with multiple pilot seats. So if you have like a pilot, a co-pilot, and like a flight engineer or whatever it may be, if you are like a cockpit builder. Go ahead, Nick. Did you have a question?
Wasn't me making that sound.
That was me. I'm enjoying the idea of a home cockpit with a flight engineer panel.
Totally. Let's see. The settings on the audio amplifier let you choose the cutoffs. Now let me kind of talk about the usage of it. It definitely does bring like a whole nother dimension into your simulation. I think it's kind of, I think you would benefit from it most if like flying around like small bush planes, because what it'll actually let you do is it lets you feel like the actual sputs and spurts and stuff like that of the engine. Like, you can obviously hear it, but it's a whole other thing just being able to kind of feel like the engine running rough. Like for example, if you're in a higher RPM, you get kind of like a more constant rumble from the engine. Whereas like if you kind of change that to a lower RPM, it kind of goes, and you can. That's my. Sorry,
that was pretty good. I'm impressed.
That's my engine. That's my engine clone.
We have a new add-on product.
Yeah. But it's actually cool, because as you transition into it, you can actually feel like the engine kind of roughing up like that, which is definitely very cool. You can still use it in larger commercial aircraft, although I don't think it would be as noticeable as smaller aircraft, just because you would have less vibrations in a commercial aircraft. It's also kind of cool because you can like as you move flaps and air brakes and stuff like that, you can actually feel those moving. You can also feel like touching down, like that initial bump that you get when you touch down.
Yeah, what's that like?
It's great. I mean, like just you're kind of flying along and you get just a little bit of vibration from the engine, and then you kind of touch down and you get the.
That's really good because that's one thing I really like about EasyDock.
Oh yeah,
and having a combination of those two, I think would be really good.
I think that would be really awesome. You get that, and then you also get more vibration just from your wheels rolling on the runway, which is kind of cool too.
Yeah.
Let's see. So just some final things here. The thing that's really cool about it, considering that they probably could have done something where like you like plug it in through USB and it uses like some sort of like driver that sends the commands with like Sim Connect and stuff like that. That's what I kind of thought this would be at first, but I was kind of amazed that it's doing all this just based off of the audio, and there are really good things to that. First of all, it works with any sim. It'll work with FSX, X-Plane, Mac, Windows, Linux, whatever. It's just sound, which is kind of cool.
Will it like work with Microsoft Word when it starts beeping?
Yes. Wow. You can. I mean, if the frequency is right, it will work with that. Kind of along those lines, it'll work with like movies. If you're watching movies on your computer, works with that. Music. Since it's just sound, it works with all types of games, racing games, train sim games, first-person shooters. So you feel like you're gun shooting and you feel like bombs going off and stuff like that. I think it's pretty non-intrusive because if you don't want it, you just turn it off. And if you mounted it to the bottom of your chair, it's just kind of like it's not there. The only thing is you kind of have a wire going off of your chair, which I would probably... I don't know if I would make like some sort of like custom like quick disconnect for that speaker wire. It's not, I've been using it for about a week now. It's not really that big of a deal. I mean, but I do kind of feel bad because sometimes you like run over the audio cable with your chair wheels. So if you're keeping it long term, I might look into like some sort of like quick disconnect or something like that. Like I said, it's great because it gives you the feeling of like a deep bass, but it creates almost no sound, so it's great for apartments and shared places and everything like that. Now there are only like two cons that I think really relate to the product itself. The other thing, it does come with a wired remote. They do have a model that includes a wireless one, but it's like $100 more, but you also get like a larger like unit with it. So in the last kind of con here, and this is no fault of like the ButtKicker itself, but it's obviously the experience is only going to be as good as the audio that you get from the sim. And what I mean by that is one thing I noticed like with the default aircrafts is that they're on a very short like audio loop. So previously I wasn't really listening for it and I didn't really notice it, but being actually able to feel it, you do kind of feel like when the audio re-loops like that.
That's a really, really good point.
Yeah, obviously with like the A2A Cub that uses more advanced audio processing and the way it handles audio, you don't get that at all. Other Payar aircraft I've tried were completely okay as well. So just one thing, not a deal breaker or anything like that, but just kind of one thing to take note of. So. I would kind of say, who exactly is this for? I would say it's probably for anyone who just wants to take their sim to the next level. Obviously, if it's between the price of the product, the whole kit and everything is $180. If it's between that and like your first yoke or your first like joystick or something like that, obviously go with the yoke. But if you do kind of have a decent setup already and you're looking into more getting more stuff with to better your experience, like if you're looking into getting a track IR, if you're looking at getting like the physical gauges and controls and stuff like that, I would definitely consider it. Because it gives you a sense of tactile feedback, but without like the thousands of dollars in that you would spend on like a full motion simulator and stuff like that. What is that?
Sorry, I just wanted to announce that.
Okay. And there we go. I mean, that's about it. I mean, overall, I'd say if you do want more out of your sim, if you do want that kind of tactile feedback, you want to feel the engine, you want to feel like bumps and stuff like that in your flight, I would definitely consider it. I mean, it's not, especially compared to like something you'd get with a full motion sim, it's not really too expensive. That's it. I mean, I would definitely recommend it to people.
Yeah.